Hey guys, Theron Asbury once again here with Revital Outdoors. Got another exciting podcast coming to you. So this year, 2022, Revital Outdoors is very proud to partner with Major League Fishing. We are going to be a title sponsor to the BFLs. And with that, as you can see from our previous podcast, we're exploring talking to anglers who have done well in BFL tournaments in the past on lakes, as well as we're trying to break down the winning patterns, the top 5 finishers. Just overall, really want to try to dive into bringing our listeners the opportunity to learn about the BFL tournaments and how they're won each and every year. So today's podcast, very excited to have a very good friend of mine. He is originally from Florida, but now he is a student at Bryan College. He's currently in his master's program, getting his MBA. He's an absolute he's gonna go down as a college legend in the fishing world of college fishing. So he's qualified for 6 national championships. He's won one. He got a top 5 and another one. He's been to the BFL All-American because of college fishing, numerous conference championships, and also wins within college fishing. He is the partner to Cole Sands. He is none other. He also works at Daytona Boat Dock Tackle, we should add. None other than my good buddy, Connor Dimauro. Let's bring in. How you doing today, Connor?
I'm doing good, Theron. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
You warm
yeah,
down
man.
in Florida?
Yeah, so it got a little cold today, but things are going well in Florida. You know, up until today, the weather's been good. Fishing is starting to kind of pick up. I know that this past weekend there was a tournament on Lake Okeechobee. Brandon McMillan won. I think he had 21 pounds. They're starting to catch a few on the Harris chain. We have that BFL tournament coming up at the same time as the BFL tournament that's going to be on Lake Chickamauga. And you being from Florida originally, but now going to school and working in the Lake Chickamauga area, I know you've become a hammer on Lake Chickamauga. You know, they call it Chick for short. So, yeah, walk us through how your new year has been. How's college? And have you been fishing at all? What's going on in the Tennessee world where you're at?
Yeah, well, I'm actually sitting in the shop right now, Dayton Boat Dock, looking at Lake Chickamauga through the snow. It just started snowing. So needless to say, we're in a little cold snap and had some nasty weather. But I actually just got back from Florida. We had our first MLF college event down there on the 6th, and got to enjoy some nice warm weather. I spent Christmas with my family down there. So I actually have not made a cast on Chickamauga in a couple weeks. But we got some cool stuff going on. We actually still have a little bit of grass left, which some anglers might be able to come to a surprise to some of them if they've comparing it to years past. Usually all of our grass is dead by now. But we've had a fairly warm, seasonably warm winter up to this point. Water temps are just now starting to get into the mid 40s. They actually touched into the low 40s this week, and gonna have a bunch of cold weather in the coming week, so that'll get the water temps getting lower.
I got you. So the fish are definitely holding to their winter pattern. I mean, there's absolutely no chance of a pre-spawn pattern happening for this upcoming BFL event.
No, I wouldn't count on it. We do have some high water, though. We had quite a bit of rain in the past couple of weeks. I actually just checked the app before I hopped on this podcast. Water's at 678.8, so it's a couple feet above winter pool. The BFL anglers that fished last year was actually the opposite. We actually had some really low water conditions. Actually, leading up to that tournament, it was below winter pool. So I don't know what the weather is going to do this week. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the water. TVA likes to do some unpredictable stuff.
Right. But
yeah, so looking forward to that tournament. It's kind of all going to be dictated on the water levels. It's definitely going to get a little bit cooler before then, but
I got you. So you say the water is high. Just how high out of normal pool is it right now? Or does Lake Chickamauga draw down to winter pool? Like, how does that all work? Like, when you say high, what do you mean by, like, how high?
Yeah, so in the fall, they draw our lake down to what they call winter pool, and then it comes back up usually in April to summer pool. our water fluctuates anywhere 6 to 8 feet when we call it a drawdown. So Chickamauga is a relatively shallow lake once you get out of the main river system, main channel. So a lot of our ground that you're fishing in the summertime, where you got nice grass and reeds to fish and stuff like that, it's all dry ground now. So for anyone that has not been up here to see that, it's pretty crazy. You can come to the lake one part of the year and fish some stuff, and then come back in the wintertime and it not even be able to get within 100 yards of it. So
Right.
that's what we're referring to when we say the drawdown. Right now, the water is somewhere in between that.
Okay.
It's somewhere in the middle. It's about 2 or 3 feet above the winter pool, which is still, below, significantly below what it is when the lake's full in the summertime.
Okay. So I know Lake Chickamauga is one of the most notorious bass fishing tournament lakes in the country. Has there been tournaments happening already this year? I mean, we're getting into the third weekend of January, but I mean, it doesn't ever seem like it's too soon to start tournaments on Lake Chickamauga.
Yeah, this lake has been getting hammered. It got hammered last year. Place gets a lot of tournament pressure, and it's really not that big when you really sit and break it down. It's not a huge place, but it continues to pump out just big fish, big bags. But the lake's had a little bit of a break. I think we had a few small tournaments in December, but there hasn't been any big tournaments to speak of yet in January this month. So the BFL on the 29th will kind of be the first tournament to break in 2022 out here.
Okay. So you said you're fishing the tournament. So without giving
I
too much
am.
away, what do you think? I mean, what's going to be kind of your strategy? What do you think an angler's got to do to do well in this tournament, and what kind of pattern do you think he should follow?
Yeah, looking ahead at the weather, we're going to have some cool nights, so it's going to definitely drop the water temps. I'm looking to have water temps in the low 40s. Looking forward, couple, about a week or so. So that's, but I don't know where the water's going to be. So we had a bunch of rain and a bunch of snow the past 2 days. So the water temps are going to, the water levels are going to come up, but I'm sure they'll have them back down by the time the tournament comes around. So, you know, I'll probably do a little cranking. I do not have the luxury of forward-facing sonar on my boat yet. I'm still a broke college kid, so I make do with what I have. But do a lot of that stuff. Alabama rig's always a player. Jerk baits. I love to throw a rattle bait this time of year, lipless. It's just one of those notorious fish catchers. This time of year, get up on them mud flats and go. Fish hold the structure, especially a lot of times when the water's varying. The water's going up and down. They hold the structure. When it's kind of when they're uncertain, that they're going to hold on something.
Right. So, you mentioned you don't have the luxury to forward-facing sonar. That's one reason why Revital Outdoors, when we're a brand new company, and when we looked at expanding our company footprint, sponsorships, things of that nature, really digesting and planning out our marketing strategy for this year in the fishing world, we really were intrigued by sponsoring the BFL league within Major League Fishing because it's made up of predominantly working class people. These guys are grassroots anglers. They're not all of them got the best electronics, the best bass boats. They kind of do with what they can. So that's really great information what you just shared, because a lot of the anglers out there fishing the BFLs, they may not all have the ability to spend the money to get that forward-facing sonar. So some are going to have it. But I don't think there's going to be a lot to do. So you give a lot of good insight to something that an angler will have to think about coming to this tournament. You mentioned hard baits, jerk bait, crankbait. Obviously, Alabama rig, you tip those with swim baits. I'm just kind of curious, growing up in Oklahoma, fishing Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri a lot, this time of year you had to throw crawfish colored crankbaits. That was just the strongest pattern. Is that the same for Lake Chickamauga, or?
Yes, especially when we get a little stain. I mean, and it's just an East Tennessee staple. Red crankbait, red flat side, handmade balsa bait.
You just
Um,
gave it away. I was wondering if you were going to mention the flat-sided
yeah,
crankbait.
flat sides always play. When the
Yeah.
water temps start to drop, a lot of guys kind of go off a 50-degree. Once it hits a 50-degree mark, you break out the flat sides, the red flat sides, and start burning down the bank.
Cool.
That's always something that plays.
Cool.
But yeah,
So, well, you've been living
reds are
in.
big. Reds are big.
Okay. So red crawfish color pattern. You've been living in Dayton and that Chattanooga area for 4 to 5 years now. I know you just got done with your undergrad.
Correct. I just
Working
graduated.
at Yeah, that's right. And congratulations on that. So working at Dayton Boat Dock and Tackle, I'm just curious, how many anglers have you met that have and make their own flat-sided crankbaits in their garage?
Oh, there's so many guys. Guys come in all the time, drop off their cards, and say, "Man, let me know if y'all need anything." Show samples. They're all unique. Everyone's got their favorites. Everyone's got their favorite colors, and you know, guys go crazy with them. Foil, paint jobs, coatings, weights, bills. Um, so yeah, everyone's got their own. Everyone's got their favorite ones. Some
Absolutely.
of them get real famous, and some of them everyone keep about as quiet as they can.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people got their own secret stuff, so
Right.
it's pretty funny that guys get absorbed by that custom stuff up here.
Yeah, I would say as far as custom baits, custom colors, East Tennessee, that Chattanooga area, that's absolutely probably the heartbeat of that. I know guys like Wesley Strader, Cliff Pace, Andy Morgan. They all have their secret crankbait builder. They got their own flat-sided crankbaits, and then Ott Defoe, being a Tennessee guy himself, he came in and designed that his signature series actually bait. It's a flat-sided crankbait. I think it's called the OG for Ott's Garage. The 6 and the 8. Great color patterns on there as well. So flat-sided crankbaits is starting to really creep up. Is be something that all anglers are throwing. But I know that's always. I mean, even dated back into the 70s. That's always been the thing with Lake Chickamauga and that Chattanooga area is those flat-sided crankbaits.
Yeah, I know you're a big tackle junkie yourself.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a lie.
Yeah, that new bait Strike King made this year, the Chick Magnet. It's got roots obviously on Lake Chickamauga, so a lot of that stuff, the OG, it all comes from this area. So there's a lot of bass history on the Tennessee River. A lot of great anglers have come from here.
Yeah, that Strike King Chick Magnet, you mentioned that. That's a great bait. It actually won the iCast hard bait category award this past year, 2021 iCast award. That was the first time Strike King's ever won an iCast award. So that's really cool. But I did hear a little birdie say that Andy Morgan had a lot to do with the design of that bait. So Andy's made a lot of money throwing flat-sided crankbaits on Lake Chickamauga. And if Strike King, if he gave the nod to Strike King, it's got to be a bait that works.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, the gentleman that actually designed the original bait that was modeled after was actually in the shop the other day, and I got to talk to him, and he brought in the original balsa bait that it was designed after, and it was pretty cool to get to see that. He makes it's Marion Tipton. He makes all kinds of stuff for the shop too, Alabama rigs and plug knockers and spinner baits, all sorts of stuff. He's a big legend around here. Not even
really,
he's the man.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You get to work at Dayton Boat Dock and Tackle and get to see everyone's different creations. I'm sure that there's stuff in your box that hasn't made it to the shelf and Dayton Boat Dock and Tackle. So hopefully you are getting some fish catches out of those. So I'm just kind of curious. You said you're fishing that BFL. You can start practicing this next couple of weeks. You got to get. I think you said you had another trip to Florida, another tournament. You're going to get back and start fishing at Chickamauga again. What do you think a good winning weight and a weight to cash a check is going to be? Just knowing what you know about the lake right now, what do you think the weights are going to look like?
Going off last year, I think it took a low 20s bag to win. If I'm not mistaken, it was 23, 24 ish. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the check range is a lot lower. Usually this time of year, if you catch a limit, you're going to get paid. Um, but there's always the guys that go out there and bust them, and that has a lot to do with the quality of fish that's here on the lake. A lot of guys catch a decent base bag, and then they go out and mess up and catch a big one and jump way up. So, uh, I'd say 10, 11, 12 pounds probably has a decent chance of getting paid, but you'll have to have over 20, I'd say, to be looking to take home a trophy.
Okay. Okay. Well, one last little quick question. What about a co-angler that might be watching this video? What kind of advice do you give to him? I know, fishing as a co-angler at the back of the boat, you never want to replicate what the guy's doing in the front unless he's just absolutely smashing them. Throwing hard baits like jerk baits, crank baits is kind of hard to do. You have different variables as a co-angler that you have to work through. I know a lot of co-anglers do well throwing big jigs and Alabama rigs out the back of the motor. But if you were a co-angler in this tournament, uh, what are some baits you would also think about?
For my co-angling experiences, I know you have way more experience than me. Co-angling, keeping it simple is always big. Something to drag, shaky head or a jig or something, and then a few baits to wind and cast, something that you can cover some water with and throw behind somebody easily. Uh, Rattle trap, I like a rattling vibe. Goes very rattling vibe. That's my favorite. We sell probably more of those than any of them right now. 3/8 or the 5/8. A single swim bait works really well too. You can go behind a lot of guys that are chunking Alabama rigs and catch fish on a single swim bait, something small, Kitech or a smaller Shadowlicious. Always works well. Um, Square bill and chatterbait. Jackhammers taking over the industry, as everybody knows. Um, and that's a fish catcher year round, spring, summer, winter, fall, anything. You can catch them on the
Yeah,
jackhammer. So
I
I
heard a
know
crazy. Go ahead.
I know co-angler. I don't know that it was one on it last year, but I know personally a co-angler that caught him really good on a jackhammer last year. So
I heard a crazy story one time of a friend of you and I have mutually. Went up to Lake Chickamauga and was catching them on a black and blue chatterbait. That's like the craziest thing I've ever heard of.
there's some crazy stuff. Chickamauga is such a a melting pot for all sorts of different stuff that you can do. Um, there's still grass growing out there. I had mentioned that. I might have mentioned that earlier. Um, our grass didn't all die off this year, so we still have some grass. So, there could be a guy that loves to fish grass come up for this BFL and fish grass the whole time and win. But so yeah, a lot of guys, you mentioned black and blue. Wouldn't think to throw that up here, but I've actually caught some really good fish on black and blue chatterbait here before. Um, but touching on the melting pot that is Lake Chickamauga, I mentioned the grass not dying all the way this year, so we still have grass. But I heard a crazy story also of a guy that was caught him on a devil's horse up here, which is notoriously a Florida bait, spawning bait. Catch them on devil's horse. So guys can come up here and do just about anything to catch fish. Um, you can kind of fish Lake Chickamauga how you want to, which kind of makes it cool. You can kind of do what works for you, and if you practice it enough, you can usually find some way to catch fish doing how you want it. Doing fishing how you want to. That's what I was trying
Right.
to say.
That's one of the coolest things I've noticed about Lake Chickamauga. I've only been there maybe 4 times in my life. I enjoyed each time I was there. I was there in the spring, and always, really great fishing there in March and April around the spawn. A lot of big fish being caught. But it's truly an angler's paradise. Anyone can go there and really just focus on what they love to do. If you love to flip a jig up in the wood, up shallow, you can do that. If you like to throw worms in the grass or swim baits, you can do that. And if you like to go out on the ledges and throw a big worm in an Alabama rig and a big deep diving spoon, I know that's where Ben Parker tested his big mag spoon with Nichols originally back in 2013, 2014 when it was starting to be developed. You can really do anything you want there, really, and you can catch them. So that's a huge tip I think you just gave to everybody is just go there and fish your strengths. Fish what you got confidence in. You're probably going to turn it into a bag.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned, catching a bag. It's not uncommon for people to mess up and catch just a giant fish out here.
Absolutely.
They swim all over the place, and now's the time of year that you really see the giants. Those big females that are getting ready to spawn, that are bulking up for the winter. Man, it's that's always the question mark that you have for these big tournaments is, who's going to catch a giant? Because somebody is, somebody's going to catch a giant that's going to push them way up in the standings.
Right, so. Right. How many 10-pounders do you think you see in tournament? I know there's a lot of tournaments that go out of Dayton Boat Dock and Tackle. How many 10-pounders do you see a year weighed in?
A year? The Fish Dayton, which is our kind of tourist organization that they handle a lot of our tournaments that come in and out. They had a count going at one point last year. I really don't even know how to put a number on it. When the lake turns on, seems like there's about one every day. I would say that somebody's like calling in, "Hey, y'all got scales, man? I think I got a giant. I think."
Right.
So yeah. I mean, it's when the lake really turns on, there's so many big fish out here. So many. It's like mind-boggling. And then when you're really struggling, it makes you scratch your head because you know how many giant fish live out here.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, well, that's great. So, Connor, it's been a privilege of ours to have you on our podcast as a guest. Good luck to you at the BFL on January 29th, Lake Chickamauga. For all the listeners out there, if you want to meet Connor, not only will he be at the tournament fishing the BFL this year, but he's a student. He's actually the president of Bryan College fishing team. He works every day at Dayton Boat Dock and Tackle. But Connor, let us know if any other visitors want to follow your career, see how you've done in your fishing career or anything like that. How can they get a hold of you? Where can they find Connor tomorrow?
Yeah, anyone fishing that event, come see me at the boat dock. I'll probably be working a couple days, practice when I can. But follow me on Instagram, C_Dimauro fishing. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Find me there and shoot me a message. I'd love to catch up. I love meeting new people. This industry is all about making connections, and the fishing industry is something I've always loved, and I hope I never have to get out of it and get a real job, as I say. I'm living my dream. I go to college and I get to fish and travel all over the country, and now got the opportunity through Bryan College to get my master's degree and fish a 5th year. So I jumped all over that opportunity, and Michael Neal, the owner of Dayton Boat Dock, really supports me in my career and helps me out however he can. So yeah, come talk to me.
I would say that's a very good mentor. Michael is another, Lake Chickamauga, East Tennessee Hammer, 2021 Angler of the Year in the Bass Pro Tour for Major League Fishing, multiple wins with Major League Fishing. Dude, just a stud. And for you to,
it's been awesome to see his career take off. He's always been just really good, and a few things finally went his way this year, and it's been really cool to see that.
Yeah, great guy, and he's got probably Dayton Boat Dock and Tackle. If for any of the listeners that's never been there, take a trip to Lake Chickamauga, go there fishing. Make sure you stop by Dayton Boat Dock and Tackle. They have delicious hamburgers, great coffee in the morning. They always are open. It seems like they never close, especially during tournament season. And Absolutely, I have to say, probably one of the top 3 bait shops in the country. There's things in that store that you guys sell that you only can find online, and it's notorious baits that people are always talking about. It's special color runs, and you all just you have it. It's not uncommon for someone to walk in there and spend a couple $100 pretty quick.
Oh yeah. Well, I really appreciate that. That means a lot. And some of the times that we've been facing with how hard it is to get stuff, we've worked really hard. Us, myself and the team that we have. We try really hard to keep the store stocked and keep stuff on the shelves that are gonna help people. That's really what it's all about, is getting stuff in people's hands that they're going to be able to use and catch fish with.
Absolutely. So, well, Connor, thank you again for taking the time to be on this podcast. We hope to have you back as a guest.
So
and yeah, man, if you ever need anything at all, you know how to get a hold of us. We're very, very honored to have you on our podcast for Vital Outdoors, and wish you all the best of luck in the future.
Hopefully, we can do a little post-game interview on the 29th.
I like that idea. That's a lot of confidence. We'd love to have you back on. So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, Connor, thank you for everything. Have a good night, bud, and good luck in your tournament on the 29th.
It's good talking to you.
All right, guys. Very excited to talk to Connor Dimauro. Again, he's a student at Bryan College. He works at Dayton Boat Dock Tackle, and he's just an absolute hammer on Lake Chickamauga. So for all you anglers out there who are getting ready for the Lake Chickamauga event, the BFL with Major League Fishing on January 29th, we wish you all the best of luck in the world. Be safe out there. We hope that this podcast is helping you plan for your tournament coming up on that date. So again, if you've never heard of Revital Outdoors, you don't know about our premium CBD products, but CBD is something you're interested in and you want to look into getting a premium CBD product designed just for outdoor enthusiasts, make sure you check out Revital Outdoors on our website, revitaloutdoors.com. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. That's going to be Facebook and Instagram. And, of course, subscribe to our YouTube page where we have all these exciting podcasts. We're starting to interview more and more anglers across the country, learning about how they're catching fish, what Revital Outdoors products has done for them. It's just been a true honor for all of us to be a part of this. So, guys, until next time, be safe out there. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.